Have you ever wondered if you're doing something that quietly pushes people away and nobody's brave enough to tell you? As we get older, we settle into habits that feel like home. But some of those habits, they might be sending a message you don't mean. Stick with me, because I'm sharing 3 things Florida seniors might be doing that everyone notices, but no one says. Living in Florida's sunshine is a dream. The warm breeze, the active retirement life in the villages, the vibrant Miami scene. But as we hit our 70s and 80s, some habits creep in that can make family, friends, or even strangers pull back. Not because they don't love you, but because these behaviors shift how they see you. I learned this watching my aunt in Naples, who didn't realize her small habits were creating distance. Let's uncover 3 of them and how to fix them. Step 1. Neglecting personal hygiene, the silent signal. Let's start with something that might feel a little uncomfortable to talk about, but trust me, it's worth it. Personal hygiene. Now, I'm not talking about major neglect or anything dramatic. It's the small things that sneak up on us as we get older, especially in Florida's warm, sticky climate. Maybe it's wearing a shirt that's been through 3 days of coffee spills and beach walks. Or letting your hair go a bit wild, unbrushed, like it's auditioning for a bird's nest. Perhaps it's fingernails that be grown just a touch too long, or a faint whiff of yesterday's sunscreen lingering a bit too much. These might seem like no big deal. I mean, who has time to fuss over every detail in their 70s, right? But here's the thing. In places like Miami or the villages, where people are out and about, these little oversights speak louder than words. They're like a silent signal to others, and not the kind you want to send. I saw this up close with my Uncle Joe, a 79-year-old retiree who moved to Tampa to live the Florida dream. Joe's the kind of guy who'd light up any room with his stories about fishing off St. Pete Beach. But a couple of years ago, I started noticing something at our weekly coffee meetups at a local cafe. His shirts looked rumpled, like they'd been pulled from the laundry basket, and his hair was more wind-blown sailor than retired gentleman. I didn't say anything. Nobody did. Not his buddies from the senior center, not the barista who served him. But I saw it. People at nearby tables would sit just a little farther away, their smiles a touch tighter. It wasn't that they didn't like Joe. It was that his appearance was sending a message he didn't mean to send. The CDC backs this up. Hygiene isn't just about cleanliness. It's about self-respect and how you present yourself to the world. When you let it slip, it's like whispering everyone around you, "I've given up a bit." And that's a tough pill to swallow, because Joe hadn't given up. He was just tired, maybe a little low on energy after years of keeping it all together. Here's the kicker. Nobody's going to pull you aside and say, "Hey, your shirt's looking rough." Not your kids, not your grandkids, not your friends at the Naples farmers market. Why? Because they don't want to hurt your feelings or make things awkward. A 2023 study from the University of Florida found that seniors who maintain basic grooming habits, fresh clothes, clean hair, trimmed nails, feel 25% more confident in social settings and report stronger connections with others. That's not just a number. It's the difference between feeling like the life of the party and feeling like you're on the outside looking in. Picture this. You're strolling into a community center in the villages, wearing a crisp, clean shirt that smells like laundry detergent, your hair neatly combed, nails tidy. You catch your reflection in a window and think, "I've still got it." That's not vanity, it's dignity. It's the kind of energy that makes people lean in, offer a warm handshake, or invite you to join their card game. Ever wonder how much a fresh look could change your day? I'm not saying you need to dress like you're heading to a Miami gala or douse yourself in cologne, but small moves make a big impact. Try setting a daily reminder to swap out your shirt. Maybe keep a stack of easy, breezy polos that scream Florida style. Keep a nail clipper on your bathroom counter and give those nails a quick trim every week. If brushing your hair feels like a chore, grab a simple comb and make it part of your morning coffee ritual. I started doing this with Joe, just nudging him to toss his shirt in the wash and run a comb through his hair before we went out. The change? Night and day. People at the cafe started chatting with him longer, inviting him to sit with them. It wasn't just a shirt. It was what it said, "I'm still here and I care." That's the message you want to send. whether you're grabbing groceries in Orlando or meeting friends in Key West. What's one small hygiene habit you could start today to feel that spark again? Step 2. Speaking without a filter, the words that sting. Let's talk about something that can slip out easier than a Florida rain shower. Speaking without a filter. You know what I mean, those moments when you say exactly what's on your mind, no holds barred, thinking, I'm just being honest. Maybe it's a comment about someone's new haircut looking like they lost a bet with their barber, or a remark about how your neighbor's grandkid is too soft, because they're always on their phone. In your head, it's just straight talk, maybe even a little playful, the kind of thing you'd shrug off with a chuckle, and back in my day, we weren't so sensitive. But here's the truth. In places like Miami or the Villages, where folks gather at cafes, community centers, or beachside barbecues, those unfiltered words can land like a rogue wave, leaving people stung instead of smiling. I saw this firsthand with my friend Maria, a 76-year-old Spitfire who moved to Naples for the sunny retirement life. Maria's got a heart of gold and stories that could keep you laughing for hours. Tales of dancing at Miami's old Coconut Grove clubs back in the day. But last year at a potluck in her condo complex, I noticed something shifting. Maria was holding court as usual, but when she made a blunt comment about a neighbor's tacky new car, the table went quiet. Later, she laughed off a younger guest's vegan diet, saying, "You kids and your rabbit food, you need real meat to survive." Everyone smiled politely, but I saw it. Eyes darting, chairs scooting back, conversations wrapping up early. Nobody called her out. Not her friends, not the neighbor, not even me. Why? Because it's awkward, especially with someone older. You don't want to make a scene or hurt their feelings. But the American Psychological Association says it plain. Words that feel honest to you can feel like criticism of others, especially when they're not wrapped in kindness. Over time, those remarks build walls, not bridges. Here's the hard part. Maria didn't mean to push anyone away. She thought she was just being her bold, tell it like it is self. But what she didn't see was how her words were making people pull back. Invites to card games slowed down. Neighbors stopped lingering to chat by the pool. It wasn't that they didn't love Maria. They just didn't know how to handle the sting of her unfiltered zingers. A 2022 study from Harvard found that seniors who practice empathetic communication pause and think, is this kind? Report 30% stronger social bonds. That's not just a stat. It's the difference between a packed table at your next barbecue and an empty one. Picture this. You're at a community center in Tampa, swapping stories over coffee. Instead of blurting out a jab about someone's loud shirt, you pause, smile, and say, "That's a bold choice. What's the story behind it?" Suddenly, the table's laughing, leaning in, connecting. That's not censoring yourself. It's seasoning your words with a little Florida sunshine. Ever wonder how your words land with others? I'm not saying you need to tiptoe around or fake who you are. You've earned the right to speak your mind, but you've also earned the wisdom to do it with care. Try this. Before you let a comment fly, ask yourself, is this helpful? Is it kind? If it's about someone's appearance, choices, or lifestyle, maybe swap it for a question instead. Like, instead of "why'd you dye your hair that color?" try, "what made you pick that vibrant shade?" I started nudging Maria to do this. Just pause for a beat and think. She tried it the next potluck, asking a neighbor about their garden instead of joking about their weird kale obsession. The result? People stayed longer, laughed harder, invited her to the next event. It wasn't about changing Maria. It was about letting her warmth shine without the sharp edges. Next time you're at a Key West seafood shack or a Miami farmer's market, give it a shot. Sprinkle a little kindness into your words. What's one small way you could soften your edge today? Step 3. Interrupting conversations, the unseen barrier. Let's wrap up with a habit that's easy to miss but can build walls faster than a Florida thunderstorm. Interrupting conversations. You know those moments. You're at a barbecue in Miami or a card game in the Villages, and someone starts sharing a story. Before they finish, you jump in with your own tale, maybe about how you handled something similar back in the day, or you offer advice because you're sure you've got the answer. It feels natural, right? You're excited, you've got wisdom to share, and after all, you've earned your place at the table. But here's the thing. In Florida's tight-knit retirement communities, where folks love swapping stories over coffee or mahjong, cutting others off, even with the best intentions, can feel like slamming a door on their thoughts. It's not that you mean to be rude. It's just that your enthusiasm or need to be heard takes the wheel. I saw this play out with my buddy Sam, a 77-year-old who moved to Key West to soak up the island life. Sam's a storyteller, the kind of guy who can make a trip to public sound like an epic adventure. But last summer at a community fish fry, I noticed something off. Sam was chatting with a group, and every time someone else started speaking about their grandkid's soccer game or a new restaurant in town, he'd leap in. "Oh, that reminds me of when I coached Little League." Or, "You think that place is good? Let me tell you about a spot in the 80s. The group would nod, but their eyes glazed over, and one by one, they drifted to other tables. Nobody said a word to Sam, not his fishing buddies, not the neighbor whose story got derailed. Why? Because it's tough to call out a friend, especially someone older, without seeming disrespectful. But a 2021 study from the American Psychological Association nails it. When conversations feel one-sided, people withdraw, not because they don't care, but because they don't feel heard. That's a silent barrier Sam didn't even know he was building. Here's the heart of it. Interrupting isn't just about talking over someone. It's about taking away their moment to shine. In Florida, where seniors gather at community centers, beach picnics, or Tampa cafes, those moments are gold. They're how bonds are built. When you cut in, it's like telling someone their story doesn't matter, even if that's the last thing you mean. A 2023 study from the University of Miami found that seniors who practice active listening, letting others finish, asking questions, report 35% stronger friendships and feel more included in their communities. That's not just a number. It's the difference between being a guy everyone wants at their table and the one they politely avoid. Picture this. You're at a sunset gathering in St. Pete Beach, the sky glowing orange, and your friends start sharing about their new hobby. Instead of jumping in with your own story, you lean back, nod, and say, "That sounds fun. How'd you get into it?" Suddenly, they light up, the table joins in, and you're all connected, laughing under the palms. That's not holding back. It's creating space for magic. Ever wonder how it feels to be truly heard? You don't need to stay silent or hide your wisdom. You got stories that deserve to be told. But try this. Next time you're tempted to interrupt, take a breath and count to 3. Let the other person finish. Then add your thoughts. Or better yet, ask a question to keep their story going. I suggested this to Sam, and he started practicing at the next fish fry. Instead of cutting in, he'd say, "Tell me more about that." The change? People lingered, shared more, even asked for his stories. He wasn't just part of the conversation. He was the glue. Next time you're at a Naples market or a Key West dock, give it a shot. Let someone else shine and watch how it pulls them closer. What's one small way you could listen a little deeper today? There you have it. 3 habits that might be pushing people away without you knowing. They're not about shame. They're about seeing yourself clearly and choosing small changes that bring you closer to others. Which one hit home for you? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how you plan to shine even brighter in Florida's golden years. If this resonated, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. It keeps us creating tips to help Florida seniors thrive. Share this with a friend in Miami or the villages who might need a gentle nudge. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. See you next time.